Gonna make this short little video, let you know what's going on. But first things first, here's a burnout. The Dakota runs and drives, but it's got some problems that I've just got to address. Right now, it's still only pushing about 3 pounds of boost. I haven't even put a boost gauge in it. I'm just judging by the KPA while I'm doing the tuning. So we're talking about a very small amount of boost. So right now, the biggest problem I've got is the transmission was actually already hurt before I put turbos on it. After I did the cam, I drove it just a bit, and I went to drive it to a car meet one day and didn't have second gear. Just nothing. Never slipped, never had any other real problems, just no more second. So after the turbos and getting tired of shifting from first to third, because I can't beat on it at all really, because you're just really being mean to it, unless you really wind out first to get in the third. Anyway, I dropped the pan, and the second gear of the band was just so worn out, it got way out of adjustment, because whenever I did the shift kit, I adjusted those, and they were in spec. So there's almost no material left on the second gear band. I went ahead, second gear band got real thin, got way out of adjustment, the lever fell out. It was laying in the pan. So I dropped the pan, put the lever back in, readjusted it, just to play around for a little bit until it eventually is going to die, and it's dying. It's been dying. So since then, or when I had the pan off, the fluid was so glittery because of course there's all that friction material, the drum scored, so there's lots of pieces of things that shouldn't be in there. And I've been driving it anyway, but now I've lost fourth gear. It doesn't slip, it doesn't go into fourth and slip or anything, it just doesn't even attempt to. So either solenoid's stuck, there's trash in something, one of the filters is clogged, I don't know. But it's just time I gotta do something about it. The guy I bought the truck from has a performance rebuild kit and a 2400 RPM stall. So I'm going to buy that stuff from him real soon, and then I'll get to rebuilding the transmission. I've actually got one in a 97 Ram that's just sitting there that worked when I parked it. There's no engine in it. The block's actually in the Dakota. So I'm going to go get that out of that truck, and then I'm going to put all those parts in that truck, or in that transmission, and then put that transmission in my truck and change some other things around as well. Gotta see what valve bodies are available. I don't know if there's a trans brake valve body available, but it sure would be cool. Anyway, so that's the next thing I gotta do. I've still gotta make a power steering reservoir and a coolant overflow reservoir. I plan on making a unit or making something so that they're both contained in the same fabricated piece. Of course, they're going to be separated. I just want to try to attempt to make something look a little nicer with my welds, just get a little more practice in, and I think it'd be cool. So I'll do that soon, driving it with no power steering. If you've driven a Dakota, the steering ratio is pretty quick, so when you don't have power steering, it sucks. Once you're moving like anything else, it's not that bad, but at a parking lot or at a stop, with those, I think I got two 75-50s up front or something like that. They're fat. It's hard to turn. So I'll solve that soon. I got a 340 liter per hour pump, an AEM good for E100, because I suspected this pump wasn't going to keep up. Either I'm just getting away with some stuff I shouldn't, or someone's already put a pump in this thing. Because at least at 3 pounds, it made 365 horse before the boost. That should have been about out of the factory pump, I would imagine. Because factory's 195 the tire. That's just what they make. Like 165 for a 318. So I should have been out of pump. Someone must put one in it. Because I'm still, you can tell in the fuel map when you're running out of pump, you got to start putting a lot of injector time in, to compensate for that. And you only get away with that for a little bit. And it's at the top end, I'm having to nose off the fuel, and I keep having to pull more fuel out because it's still rich. So we don't have that problem yet. I will put a pressure gauge on and check it soon, but not until I be able to beat on it again, so that's going to be a while. I also want to change the wheel bolt pattern. Something a little more easy to get wheels for and everything. I've got a couple 8.8s. Mine's got a 392 gear in it now. Driving it to work's 44 miles one way. So I've got a 373. It's not a big change, but I got 373 with a limited slip. So that's what I'm going to put in it to convert the back to 5 lug, to 5 on 4.5. And then I think I'm going to use Mustang hubs and cut down the stubs on the Dakota knuckles for the Mustang hubs and the bigger brakes. And then I'll probably run 17 by whatever skinnies up front, and either 15 by 10 so I can keep a good thick sidewall, or 17 by 10s, but probably 15 for more sidewall. We'll see. We'll play that one by ear. So that's how I'm going to convert that, and there'll be videos of all this stuff on the way as I do it. What else have I got? I want to put a remote cooler under the bed for the transmission. I also need an oil cooler in traffic with the turbos bleeding off some oil pressure and the extra heat, and my sensor's probably just dying too, because it'll be at 40 to 30, and either there's maybe the factory computer, once it drops below a certain percent, it just goes all the way to 0 and then sets the alarm off in the check gauges, or it's actually losing that much. Maybe the sensor's just dead. I haven't put a mechanical gauge on it, and that's the answer. As long as it's got 10 psi per thousand, I'm not worried about it. And it's like 40, 35 to 40, and then it just drops off to 0. So I doubt it's actually that low. Well, anyway, it also steams out the valve cover after it gets good and hot going down the highway, because it cruises. Also, lockup has never worked on this transmission. Another reason I need to rebuild the transmission for it. It screams 3,000 to 3,500 depending on traffic. It's just screaming, building a bunch of heat. So getting a new converter and the ability to have lockup again, all good things. 8.8, lots of aftermarket support for it. 9.25, there's not a whole lot out there. That's why it's another good thing to go to the 8.8. I think it might actually be lighter. Not sure about that, but it's still 31 spline, all good stuff. C-clip eliminators are easy to get a hold of, where the 9.25 they're not. Lots more options for diffs and gear choices, so all good things. Also, I really wanted to use a Hellcat style wheel, and I thought about adapting to Chrysler stuff, but it's a real pain. It's really expensive. Even if you do, no one makes cheap wheels unless you get factory ones, and then if you want to go drag radials or wider tires for drag slicks, it's still expensive. That's why 5 on 4.5 instead of 5 on 115. But you can also get Hellcat style wheels on 5 on 4.5, so I can still get the style wheel I want in a replica, and I can also have a set of drag radials and skinnies up front. But I think I've crossed about everything. I've still got to get a boost gauge. I got to get another wideband sensor. Even the one I have is still on the fritz. I just borrowed it from a friend. But wanted to give you guys an update. I'm going to be busy for the next couple weekends doing some side work, making some money to buy some more parts. Well, if you hung in there for this long, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'll keep at it.